You can't always.
This is the death.
Remarkably empty.
Turn back towards God. Rise up.
Hello and welcome to a time of excitement and inspiration. I am Manoj Sunny, and together with Shalom World, we'll take you through the journeys of a group of ordinary people in the Jesus Youth Movement who dared to follow an extraordinary call as a part of the full-time volunteer project. A project that has been instilling the missionary lifestyle in young people for the last 28 years. A project that has put 28 batches of young people, around 2,000 so far, through a 30-day intensive training and placing them in mission centers around the world for a whole year. And that's exactly why they are called God's crazy people. Today we have a young person joining us all the way from Pakistan. Born to Lal Bhatti and Viran Bibi, he is blessed with 4 siblings. After completing his bachelor's degree, he attended the full-timers training in Thailand in 2012 and was placed in UAE for the next 1 year. He currently works as a sacristan mayor in St. Joseph's Cathedral, Abu Dhabi, and lives with his wife Claire and 2 kids, Theodore and Maria. Let's welcome Nadeem Lal Bhatti, originally from Pakistan but joining us from Abu Dhabi, UAE. A hearty welcome, Nadeem.
Thank you so much for inviting me in your program.
How did you start your journey with the Lord? What was your moment of encounter with Christ?
Encounter with Jesus is something like when we receive Jesus in our heart, that time receiving communion, that's an encounter every time. But to realize it came to happen in Jesus Youth International Full-Timership Training in 2011 in Thailand. So there I understand that there is some call for me. So I was able to understand the call of Jesus during that retreats.
Nadeem, you were placed in UAE for your 1-year full-timership. So what is the nature of your mission in UAE?
Actually, when I took up this commitment, the leaders over there who nominated my name and told me already, it is not a mission, actually, it's your formation also. Especially when I came here in UAE, I saw and I experienced the daily masses. I experienced the 6th pillar of Jesus Youth, which we are having it in this period of 1 year in UAE. That was my especially mission, to focus my formation, my faith, my personal experience with the Lord every day, and the experience with the people, and to meet them, to reach out them. That was my mission. There was a special community, Hindi speaking, Urdu speaking. We have common language, Hindi and Urdu. My mission was like to my formation and to reach out the people who are little far from the church, far from going far little from the family, and reaching far from the church. So to bring them back, to try through my experience with the Lord, so to give them good news, to bring them back to the church where we can get the eternal life.
Before we continue with further discussions, I have a surprise for you. Joining us all the way from Ireland, Siljo Thomas. Siljo is one of the key leaders of the movement. He was a full-timer himself in 2002, served in different offices of the movement, including that of National Coordinator of Jesus Youth India and the International Assistant Coordinator. He lives now in Dublin, Ireland, with his wife, Shijimol, and 2 sons, and presently serves as Europe Coordinator of the Jesus Youth Movement. Siljo Thomas.
When I think about Nadeem,
My memories goes back to the full-timership training program which happened in Bangkok in Thailand. He was one among the participants from Pakistan. I was the one who was coordinating that training program he attended. During the training period, one thing I especially noticed in him, a very good quality which I noticed in him was his humility. He was very humble. And because of that, he was very open to learn new things. And also, he was very good in building a relationship with the people. And after the training, later he was placed in UAE for his mission. During his 1 year of full-timership commitment, he could do a lot of things in UAE at that period of time. He was very committed. He was very passionate about his mission place. Though he was placed in a completely new culture, a new place, a new country, he very well adapted that new culture and he has a heart for the mission. He was very good in reaching out to the people, especially, I would say, he was very good in reaching out to different communities, people from various backgrounds, people who are working in UAE from different countries. I remember we had a Jesus Youth prayer meeting for the Hindi speaking people at that period over there. Nadeem could contribute a lot to that prayer group. He made it very active. He brought many new people to that prayer group and it became very vibrant. He also has taken initiatives to bring together the people from Urdu speaking community and he started gathering them together. Another thing about him, during his commitment period, he was very active in the local church. He brought many people to the church. He had a very good relationship with the church authorities. I'm sure his presence was a great blessing to Jesus Youth in UAE and also to the local church. Nadeem, let me ask you a question. When you think about your full-timership, can you share what was the biggest challenge you faced when you were placed in UAE for the mission?
Thank you, Siljo. A good question to continue our discussions, Nadeem.
How I overcome all the challenges through prayers, through help of the leaders. The challenges were about like language, food, and then some reach out the places which I didn't know before. I have never tried those things, and bringing and to go to the level of the people, their like what you call that bottoms. What are the things they are facing? Experience their life difficulties, and those are very difficult challenges for me to follow the instructions, to follow the guidelines, to follow always to remain in the path of Christ, which is difficult, and the weather and it was really hot here, but I was enjoying because I loved my mission and I enjoyed my mission.
Siljo was mentioning about Urdu and Hindi prayer groups. I think you were instrumental in initiating these two different language groups in UAE. What was your experience? Okay, how did you begin these two prayer meetings?
Once I reached here in UAE, I saw there are a lot of communities are working out, very active, and there are communities from India and Pakistan and Bangladesh. We have same language, we can understand each other, and it's make me to think. And the leaders told about those things that there are people who can speak your own language. Why don't you try? I said it's a great idea also, and then I would like to meet them. And there are many different languages in UAE, all over the world, but I focus Hindi, Urdu, and then people who can speak English also. So we had bring them together in the place. We praise and worship and had meetings and pray together and had fellowship and outings. We had really good time, and I have still the connections with some of them.
Could you please share a few memorable experiences during your commitment here?
The greatest moments of my full-timership was to attending the masses every day, to I had attended the Bishop Conference in Dubai and had experience with the other bishops, our church leaders, where I experienced my formation and mission work with them, what I'm doing, how I'm doing. Then the experience of ACYC, there is a Arabian Catholic Youth Conference in UAE. That time I had attended that, and it was really great time with them, with other Gulf youth which came from the different Gulf countries and different Jesus youth. People and leaders came all over the world, especially from the Gulf countries, and the speakers were there. From international speakers were arrived in that training, and the bands and I love the worship they are having it. The other experiences like we had small local international programs also. I enjoyed all of them, and the experience of with the church summer camp was really a blessing. I can never forget. I taught them action songs during that time of 1 month action songs, and what I learned from Jesus Youth training, and the things what I learned, I try to deliver and try to learn more things, new things from here.
We all know that Holy Father Pope Francis visited UAE last year, 2019, and he celebrated Mass in Abu Dhabi. I'm sure that you were involved in arranging all these things there. How was your experience?
It was a great blessings I was going to receive. So we great emotions we had. So we were overwhelmed that moments, and then of course we were the one hosting that mass, and we have to arrange everything for the mass. And I was involved in the committee. I was the main sacristan in that for that mass to take care of everything. And there's a team, but I was I was the part of the team. And liturgy side, I was arranging everything on the altar, arranging the altar for the mass, holy articles, and then the vestments of the Holy Father, and then the other things I arranged and kept for the Holy Father in his room. And then I went to the other priests, cardinals, and other vestments to arrange and everything. It was a day and night experiences to arrange the mass. We prepared the things 1 day before we went and visit the place, and it was a challenging moments for us how to do it, but through the it's really God's was giving us strength to work on it. And we are so happy to see Holy Father, and we had experience to meet him, and I will never forget. This was a great blessings during my working period in the UAE as a in the cathedral as a sacristan, and I got a privilege to serve Holy Father's Mass.
You're a husband now and a father of 2 children, and you serve as the sacristan mayor in Abu Dhabi Cathedral. And you're blessed to have a job where you can directly at the service of the church. My question is that how does this full-timership experience help you in living your life today?
What I learned in that year is still helping me in my family life, in my as a wife to my wife, as a husband. I'm taking care of like Jesus Youth Prayer, and the pillars of 6 pillars are helping me. It's still with me, personal relationship with God, personal relationship with the people, and giving the good news to my children, to my family. As a father, my responsibility is to transfer my faith and to deliver what I learned to my children. That's how I'm helping my wife and my children, 2 children, to grow more in their relationship with the Christ and with the people, each other, and the family and outside the family. When we go and meet other people, we have to love and understand and give respect. And then in my sacristan work, like it's a great blessing from God to serve in the church. In the church, I can see that I'm serving not only the Christ, but only the serving His people and to prepare the things for the Lord. It takes take part a little part in His kingdom on earth.
You've completed almost 10 years after your full timership now. And when you look back,
Yes, yes.
do you consider that 1 year you committed fully to Christ as a gain or a loss?
I would say the 1 year is totally 100% gain for me. I gain a lot which I did not expect, which I'm not able to deserve also, but Lord has given me. It's a great blessings I cannot explain in my words. If I start experience telling you what are the things I got after that training, I, I will be crying maybe, be crying because of joy.
What do you want to share with your peers, the youth of today?
My message for the youth is to love Lord your God with your heart and mind and soul, and serve, to know Him, to understand Him, to serve the people, to love His neighbor, and to serve God and to serve His people. And when you focus your mission and call what is God has for you, just listen to the voice of God. You will listen and just focus in your through Jesus. You can find your call. What is the call for you? What is the uh, what is God has planned for you? He will show you and guide you definitely. Just love and serve the Lord and His people and His neighbor, all the neighbors you meet.
Thank you very much, Nadeem. It was such a joy to have you with us today. Your sharing has been so inspirational. May the Lord rain down His graces on you as you journey on with your life as a missionary.
Thank you, Manoj, for inviting me this program, and I'm really happy to share my experience, which I'm carrying out in my life.
Today, we have a very special guest joining us from Canada, Benson Mentis. A social worker by profession, he took his 1 year commitment in 1999 and was the coordinator of the full timers training team for several years. He was a former president of Radio Maria in India and now lives in Saskatchewan with his wife, Suma, and 3 children, and serves as a part of the national formation team in Canada. Benson Mentis.
My experience as a GCS full-timer in 1999 and as a team member for 6 years for this project and the coordinator for 3 years, I have received many fruits in my life, a Christ-centered life, a conviction that I am a missionary in this world, a courage that I received to share Jesus to the people, even to a stranger, and also a perspective on call of evangelization. During this period of 1 year, I got an opportunity to interact with many church leaders, especially bishops, clergy, management representatives of the different institutions. This has helped me to identify my leadership skills and develop it, the communication skill and the interpersonal skill. After the commitment, I continued my studies. I did my post graduation. I've started working for an organization. I got a call for the interview for the post of manager, and I was selected. The interviewer, after a couple of months, the interviewer told me that there was many candidates with 5 years, 10 years experience, but even though they know that I had only the 6 months experience at that point, they selected me because they have seen the management abilities and the leadership skills in me. I would say it is only because of this 40 days training and 1 year formation. This project has helped reaching out to the many communities in different parts of the world. Especially, there's a great real shortage of the missionaries. There's a great need for such full timers who can commit 1 or more years to build the kingdom of the God around the world. I heard about the organization, different Catholic organizations, having the similar type of project, but rare though. GCU Full Timers project is unique and great one to be followed. The majority of the members who was part of this project are very active in the parishes and very active in different ministries of the church, still continuing their missionary works. I hope other church organizations also come up with similar projects where we can train more missionary disciples for the church.
Thank you, Benson, for sharing about how the training and commitment here help to mold you as a true leader. As Pope Francis said, young people are not just the next generation who will take up the mantle one day in the future, rather, they are the now of God and can step into the leadership roles in your churches right now. So, if any one of you listening to me now is inspired to answer a similar call and desire to live as the now of God, please do get in touch with us. So that's it for today, friends. Let's keep each other in prayer and stay crazy for God until we meet again next week for the same program on Shalom World. For more exciting contents, watch shalomworld.org and download the free apps of Shalom World on your iOS and Android devices. Thank you.
To all of the viewers of Shalom TV throughout the world, I want to encourage you not only to support this amazing media apostolate, but to spread the word to others. We all know how the internet and mass media are polluting the world with the poison of pornography and so much other forms of materialism. This is the source of eternal life, the gospel, and Shalom TV is consecrated to spreading the word of Christ. Thank you.